Adobe's Premiere Pro is a very robust video editing application. It's also highly customizable. You can set up your workspace to whatever suits you, depending on if you're working in a large editing bay with several monitors, all the way down to a small laptop screen, as is the case in this video that I'm going to show you here. This video will just give you a basic introduction to Premiere Pro. We'll go through some of the fundamentals that you need to know to be able to import media, edit and select the portions you want to use, add music and scene transitions and titles. When you launch Premiere Pro, this is the launch page that you'll likely see. What you want to do is click on a new project if that's what you're starting, so we'll click there. When your new project pane comes up, go ahead and name your file right along and select where you want to store that file. We're going to leave all these other default settings as they are. Click OK. All right, let's take a quick look at the windows, the editing workspace that you have here. Over here on the top, over here on the bottom left is the first panel that you'll be using. This is called your project panel, and this is where you put your media. This is where you import all the media that you're going to be working with. Up above the project panel is the source panel, or the source window. This is where you can open a clip from the project panel, and you can set your basic parameters, such as your in and out point on that particular clip before you edit. Down here toward the lower right, this is your timeline. This is where you will start dropping clips in the order in which you want them as you build your sequence of video clips across a timeline. Up above the timeline is the program window, and this will show you the output from your timeline. So when you need to kind of preview what you've been doing here in the timeline, you'll watch it here in the program window. You'll do your heavier editing in the timeline sequence here. All right. Over here, right beside the timeline, these are your primary editing tools that you'll be using. Over here is your audio controls, and you'll use those some. And then there's one other pane, which I don't have room to show you on this particular small laptop screen, but there's one other pane that you probably want to have. And you can look in your Windows menu, and see all these other things that you can call up and set down. But you will want the effects pane at some point. And you can see that's a Shift 7. And if we hit Shift 7, we see that it changes the program or the project panel. Shift back to the project panel, all we have to do is do Shift 1. So Shift 1 gives us the project panel. Shift 7 toggles it back to the effects panel. Okay, we'll go back to Shift 1, project panel. All right, let's get some clips in here and start working with Premiere Pro. So what we're going to do with our project window active, so click on that. You can just drag your files right into this window, or you can go up to the File menu and do Import or Command-I. I've already selected the clips that I want to bring in, so I'm just going to select all of those, click Import, and let them find their way in. And there we go. Okay, before we start working with our clips, there's one other kind of little clip that you probably want with most of your projects, and that's called a black video. You can use it for a title at the beginning and the end. A black video is just a black screen, and it's quite useful to have. So to create that, we're going to go to our File menu and go File, New, Black Video. So what size should we make it? We don't know, do we? Let's look. So let's hit cancel here. What we want to do is make it the same size as what our videos are. So to figure out that, we're going to go down here, and instead of looking at the icon view, we're going to look at the list view. And if we scroll over, we can see that our video is 1920 pixels wide by 1080. And so that's the size we want to make for our black video also. Okay, so go up, new, black video, and make this 1920 by 1080. Yours may be different depending on the size video format you're shooting in. Okay, and there is our black video that comes in by default at 4 seconds long. So to get this black video at the beginning of the video we're going to make, we need to get it up into the source panel and trim it. So we're just going to double click it, and it shows up now in the source panel. And I'm going to just take the first 1.5 seconds of it. And so what we do is we put an in and an out marker on it. The in marker is this left bracket or the letter I. So I click here, and that puts a start marker at this point. And then I'm going to come out here 1.5 seconds. There's 1 second, and that's 1 and 17 frames. We'll go back to 15. And then we'll set the out marker, which is the right bracket or the letter O. All right, and so now we can see it's changed it to 1 second and 16 frames. And if we drag this now into our timeline, it shows up as black video as the first scene going for the first roughly 1.5 seconds there. Okay, now let's work with a different clip. I'm going to pick kind of a longer clip in here. And let's go to, here's a long one. We're going to learn how to keep different parts of this clip as subclips. So let's double click it to move it up into the source panel. And we take a look at this here. You can see it's some traffic here in a busy street in India. We've got several different mini scenes within this long clip. Okay.